Hello, and welcome to another episode of The Devils in God's Country. I'm one of your hosts, Casper Rigsby. My normal, lovely co host, Miss Allie Jackson, will not be joining us tonight. She's got stuff to deal with, things are going on, so I won't elaborate any more than that, but she's not going to be here with us tonight. We have added an additional co host to the show, though. We have Tony Prouse with us. I believe that's how you pronounce your last name. Am I correct?
It is. Thank you.
All right, awesome, awesome. Tony runs the YouTube page Atheist Ranger, and also a Facebook page called Skeptic Ranger. So check those out. Check out what he's got going on, what he's been doing. Tony's going to be a regular on the show here as often as he can join us. He'll be here with us. So good to have another another voice here. Tony's joined us before during some of our open mic nights, so we're glad to have Tony on tonight. Tony actually suggested our topic for the night, so I'm going to let him start us off.
Well, I'm not much of a long talker, ladies and gentlemen, but as many of you know, the DNC, a lot of emails have come out pretty much confirming what we all knew, and that is the DNC has been pro-Hillary since the start. I think one of the things they did was trying to, like in West Virginia and some other Christian fucking state, they were trying to get pretty much atheist shame him because they knew that in the southern states he would do badly in that, which he's admitted. Obviously, we know that is not true. Bernie Sanders is, I think, as he identifies as a secular Jew, and one of the emails also show that the Hillary campaign was paying people to troll Bernie supporters online. So, which to me is just fucking pathetic. I mean, and it's pathetic because you can see that Hillary clearly cannot beat Bernie on substance, so she has to attack him with these just bullshit, fallacious means. And it just shows you the real Hillary Clinton. She's not for you, she's not for me, she's for herself. She's for the fucking Wall Street, she's for corporations, and pretty much all I gotta say right now. Go ahead, Casper.
Well, yeah, the emails, a little over 20,000 of them, haven't all been gone through. We don't know exactly what all's in everyone. We don't know exactly who all's complicit in this very undemocratic action on the part of the DNC. And let's be honest here. It's we talk about rigging an election and all that, and many Bernie supporters have been very vocal about how it honestly has seemed right from the start that the DNC themselves have been painting a narrative that Hillary had already won the nomination from before it even started. She had already been coronated. It was her turn. Um, so they never actually showed any partiality or impartiality in their presentation of two potential candidates, and that's the hiccup. That's the problem because the DNC and the members of the DNC have an obligation, according to their own bylaws and their own charter, to be impartial, to represent both candidates and to represent them equally and to give them an equal share of time and presentation to the people and let the people actually decide who they want. Instead, um, these emails are being passed back and forth about how they can possibly discredit Bernie, um, and make sure that Hillary got in there and got the nomination. Um, we've had allegations of voter fraud in multiple states throughout the country as far as the primaries go. And many of those are being taken to court. Um, there are multiple class action lawsuits being filed for voter fraud and voter disenfranchisement. Um, but the fucked up reality is none of that's going to change Hillary's coronation. We'll see here in I guess a day, maybe two. I'm not sure when exactly her coronation will be, but we'll see her get crowned as the fucking queen of the Democratic Party, and the person who's gonna beat Trump. Unfortunately for Hillary and her supporters, national polls have shown rather strongly that she can't beat Trump. She can't. And the reason she can't beat Trump is because there are many independent voters out there who refuse to align themselves with Hillary and the DNC because of their actions, because of the things that this party has decided that they're going to stand for, and the actions that they're going to take to show who they really are. Their true colors have come out, during the course of this primaries, um, and there are many people who just refuse to toe a party line, um, in order to supposedly beat the big bad Trump. Um, they refuse to sell out their integrity and their conscience, um, just to take down Trump. Um, I'm I would say I'm one of those people. Unfortunately, I do not have the right to vote. I'm a convicted felon in the state of Tennessee. Convicted felons have no voting rights. So I won't be participating in this fucking shit show. It has nothing to do with me, and I can sit back with a clear conscience and, be honest and still maintain my integrity and never support Hillary or the DNC. Um, they won't get my vote, but neither will Trump. Neither will anyone else, because my vote doesn't exist. So, you know, I'm in a pretty happy position here as far as that goes. I get to watch the world fucking burn and be like, I didn't do anything. I was not allowed to even be a participant in this fucking shit show. So, kudos to me for having a fucked up life earlier on in my life and doing some stupid shit.
Mhm.
Uh, it's just it's a sad fucking situation. It's a sad situation that these emails even exist. And I know a lot of people are saying, well, it doesn't make a difference. They didn't actually do anything. You can't show they were tampering with voter booths or anything. Um, that's not the point. What they did was dishonest. What they did goes against their own charter. What they did was cheating by their own fucking standards, by what they have said would constitute cheating, um, and have their actions actually manipulated voters. Yes, yes, they have. They have helped to perpetuate a narrative against Bernie Sanders, on many different fronts, and because of that, people that were even on the fence, have said, "Well, I don't think Bernie can beat Trump," even though every national poll up until now has shown that, yeah, Bernie's the only one that can beat Trump. He's the only one that can take independent voters and say, "Hey, come with me. We're gonna go try and do something and fix some shit." Um, the reason that he's able to do that is the same reason that Trump has a lot of supporters, and I hate to say that, but it's because Bernie has not ever really been part of the establishment. He hasn't been um, this crooked politician that's been bought and paid for in Washington. And people know that. The people that actually have seen what Bernie stands for and what he's done in his career, we know he's, for lack of a better phrase, one of the good guys. He's actually wanting to represent the people. Um, so, he had the ability to beat Trump. He will not get the nomination. I mean, there's this 1 in a million chance that the DNC could actually do the right thing and, make a decision, uh, that would put Bernie in the nomination, but that's not going to happen. Said 1 in a million chance, probably more. I think those are uh, unrealistic odds. To say 1 in a million is probably 1 in a billion, 1 in 10 billion. Um, that they would actually do the right thing. And that's the problem. The DNC isn't doing the right thing. Hillary Clinton hasn't done the right thing. She hasn't stood with the people. I know a lot of people were like, Hillary's been a champion of women's rights all her life. Um, in so much as she's had to pander to specific groups and she's done as little as possible, sure, she's been a champion for women's rights. Um, has she actually been a champion for women's rights? Not really. She's been a champion for fucking business. Um, we, we talk a lot about prison numbers when we deal with the treatment of minorities in this country. And a lot of the times we see, oh, young black men are incarcerated, 5 times more than young white men, and um, the impoverished are incarcerated 5 to 10 times more than the wealthy. Um, we we forget to notice that women are amongst those numbers. When you look at the numbers of imprisoned women, you see that the minority numbers there are also nearly 5 times higher than white women. So minority women are going to prison 5 times more than white women, and Hillary supports the system that does that. Hillary supports the privatized prison systems, the private prisons, which actually go out and fund campaigns like Hillary Clinton's. Yes, her campaign is partially funded by private prison interest groups. That's who's paying for her to win the campaign. So is she going to come in and push for prison reform? Is she going to come in and push out privatized prisons? Is she going to come in and try and repeal Citizens United to get the private prisons money out of our politics so that they can stop determining the laws that dictate what happens to the average citizen in this country, what happens to minorities on and just overwhelming basis? Is she going to push to legalize marijuana and end the fucking drug war? Yeah, let's put some air quotes around that drug fucking war. Um, One of the craziest wars our nation has ever engaged in, one that we've been losing right from the start. Um, and yet here we are fucking what, 40, 50, 60 years later after the drug war began, and we still haven't won, and we haven't gotten any better with it. In fact, things have gotten worse. uh, Drug use is an epidemic in this country. um, Drug smuggling is an epidemic in this country. um, you know we imprison people for using drugs, not selling drugs, okay? Not manufacturing drugs. We imprison people for possessing narcotics for their own personal use, and we put them in prison for doing that. Even though every study that's been done says that is the absolute wrong thing to do. That people need substance abuse counseling, they need rehabilitation, they need to receive some training so that they can get out of an impoverished situation and do better in life. They need a lot of things, but prison ain't one. Now, I touched on the fact that I don't get to vote anymore. And the reason I don't get to vote is because I was caught in possession of marijuana, a small amount of marijuana, 2 dime bags to be precise. But because it was in separate baggies, they gave me a felony possession to redistribute. So they basically gave me a sales charge, even though I had no intent to redistribute it. That's just how I bought it. But I got 10 years in prison. I had to do 3 of those 10 years in prison. The other 7 was on probation. In addition to my prison time, I lost my right to vote. I lost my right to own a firearm in this nation. Those rights are gone. They were stripped from me for what should be simple possession of a, honestly, let's be honest, non-narcotic substance, for personal use. That's a huge thing for me. It's a huge deal for me personally because it's affected me personally. So when I see hundreds of thousands of people incarcerated in private prisons every fucking day, when I see judges handing down sentences of 20 years for what should amount to a simple possession of fucking cocaine or crack cocaine or even methamphetamines, what should amount to a person being put into a rehab service and being helped to actually, be a productive member of society, to figure out what's causing them to turn to drugs, and abuse them in their lives, where we should be helping these people. Instead, we lock them into a prison. We don't assist them in advancing their lives at all in a prison system. I wasn't given any real options to do better coming out of prison. um, I had a chance to take some technical courses, which I did in prison. Certainly did not help me getting out of prison, get a job, or anything else, because, hey, nobody wants to hire a convicted felon. So it wasn't helpful. Um, and that the fact that people don't want to hire somebody out of prison is all part of that stigma about, oh, you're a terrible person because you went to prison. And yet people don't understand, hey, maybe you just fucked up and you had some shit going on in your life and you felt like, hey, I really don't want to deal with this, and maybe it would just be easier to sit back and smoke a doobie and just try to forget shit and not have to deal with it. But people don't realize you can go to prison for that. Your entire life can be fucked up because, shit just ain't cool, and, you're not a drinker really, and you'd rather just sit back and smoke a doobie.
Hmm.
I sit here and drink on the show every Monday night. I'm not a fucking drinker. I drink once a night for this show. The reason I do that is because I can't smoke a doobie because it's still fucking illegal.
And
I
it
didn't
shouldn't
enjoy
be.
prison. Yeah, I didn't enjoy prison. I don't want to go back, so I'm not going to go out and buy weed again, and I'm not going to sit here on camera and smoke it. So, hey, I drink.
Yeah, I mean, when it comes to our political system right now, obviously I can vote. I'm not registered, but I could get registered and I could vote, but I'm not going to do it. Okay, because when this whole thing goes up in flames, I'm gonna hold my hands up and say I didn't contribute to it at all. You people did. And honestly, when Trump becomes president and when he does a fucked up job, I'm gonna look at all the Trump supporters. They see this is what you voted for. So now you made your bed. Now you have to fucking lie in it. And the same thing with the Hillary Clinton supporters. When she gets in there and she starts fucking up, I'm gonna look at the Hillary Clinton supporters and say, see, this is what you voted for. And again, um, fuck, what was I about to say? What as you said before, if you made your bed, now you have to lie in it.
Yeah, it's a funny thing, and people are sitting here, especially Hillary supporters, and they're telling me, oh, it's independents' fault that Hillary won't win, and we've got to unite, and you've got to vote blue no matter who, and all this other horse shit. And let me explain something to you folks who are in that fucking camp of you got to vote blue no matter who, and it doesn't matter how you feel, you have to fucking, we got to defeat Trump. Trump is the fucking antichrist. We got to defeat Trump at any cost, no matter what it takes. It reminds you of a fucking line from the book series and movie Ender's Game. How we win matters. It fucking matters. Who we fucking support and how we vote, it matters on our own fucking conscience. It matters as a matter of fucking integrity and whether you can fucking sleep at night with what you have participated in. It fucking matters. It's not beat this one guy at any fucking cost, no matter what it takes. For those of you that saw the fucking movie, what did it take? What did it take to win? Genocide. of an entire fucking species. That's what it took to win, but it was acceptable. It was acceptable, you know, because you won. Whatever it takes. Now, fuck that. How we win matters. It means something. The problem here is Hillary couldn't fucking beat Trump to begin with because she hasn't been above board to begin with. She doesn't have the ethical and moral fucking high ground. You know, they these Hillary supporters, they every time you talk about Hillary's fucking record and the shit that she stands for and the fucking corporations that are backing her and paying for her fucking campaign and have paid her while she's in office to vote in favor of what will best serve them. Every time you bring those things up, these Hillary supporters are like, oh well, you're buying into the fucking Republican bullshit. You're buying into all the hype, fucking Republicans. No, I'm fucking looking at her goddamn record. I'm looking at factual fucking information. I'm looking at a woman who said, I support TPP. I support fucking fracking. I'm looking at a woman who, before she was ever actually holding any public office, worked with her husband to pass NAFTA. And I'm looking around at my own state of Tennessee and asking, where the fuck did all my jobs go? Oh, yeah, I remember. Clinton, NAFTA. They all went to fucking Mexico. They're all in China right now. You think
Well,
do you think TPP is going to fucking help fix that? Fuck no, it's going to make it worse.
just for quick, believe it or not, I'm actually also, I mean, I don't know about you, but I'm also a victim of NAFTA. My father was working at Sunrock. In case any of you don't know who Sunrock is or what Sunrock is, was a water cooler making company. And sure enough, I think maybe a year after NAFTA got signed, Sunrock transferred all of its jobs here in Delaware to fucking China. And just like that, my father was out of a job. And he spent almost a year, I think like 6 months to a year, looking for another one. So, yeah. And then we were living a pretty good lifestyle until he got laid off.
You know, I living in a red state like it is here in Tennessee. Even if I could vote, my vote wouldn't fucking matter. Doesn't matter. It's not going to affect what the Electoral College does when it comes to a general election because this state is going red. This state is going to Trump. That's it's not even questionable. There are some states in this fucking country that are red or blue, and that's where they're fucking at. And they almost never shift. They almost never swing out of those things. Now there are other states where it does swing. It swings back and forth. You know, depending on the candidates, depending on the issues. Those there are certain states that can swing. Tennessee ain't one of them, and we haven't been for quite some time. In fact, as far as I know, in my 36 years of life on this planet, this state has been a red state always. Um, any time that we've had a chance to shift, um, there are people here um, that vote Republican, and I know even atheists here, religious non-believers that vote Republican here, and they do so not because they align with a lot of the other bullshit with the Republican Party, but they do so because they remember shit like NAFTA. They remember that they used to have a great fucking job and they used to be able to support their families and they used to be able to take care of their families and they used to not be worried about whether they're going to be able to pay their fucking mortgage and their car payment. They used to not work two jobs to support their family, working 80 plus hours a week just to fucking scrape by. They used to be able to go in and pull a 40, 50, sometimes 60-hour work week at somewhere like Bridgestone, right down the fucking street, and they could walk out with a good check and they could take care of their shit and still have a little bit left over and they could spend time with their families and they were happy. But that doesn't exist anymore. And a lot of people Remember that. A lot of people look at that and they say, yeah, who fucked me over? Who did that? And of course, it was Hillary's fucking husband. And Hillary was fucking praising that shit up and down. She was working to push it. She is quoted as having said at the time that NAFTA was the fucking gold standard. And I don't know whose gold standard it was, because Mexico has not prospered from this either. That's the thing. We had so many businesses like, oh, we're going to go down to Mexico. We'll get cheap fucking labor and it'll all be good. And Mexico hasn't profited from it. You know, the fucking country of Mexico is still basically being run by drug lords. Things have not improved for the Mexican people. You wonder why so many illegal immigrants coming from Mexico itself come up to this country to find a job, and it's because their country is still shit. You would think if NAFTA had actually worked, at least Mexico would be doing better. They're not. Canada has done pretty well off of it. We trade pretty well with Canada. Um, I, I don't think the Canadians are really going to want to trade much with Trump. They seem to dislike him more than we do, um, which I guess as an outside observer, it's definitely something to look at and go, holy shit! I remember that South Park episode. It came to life. Fuck. Um, so
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. I understand. I understand people that are just so pissed off with the whole system that they're like, you know what? I'd rather see somebody that's not involved in the system. But I will say this: Trump is a human fucking dumpster fire. That man is a terrible piece of shit human being.
Who's gonna get us all killed?
And he doesn't deserve to be president. He certainly hasn't earned it. The the problem that we're running into right here, right now, the problem that we're seeing when it comes to polls and poll results showing that Trump will actually beat Hillary Clinton, is that shouldn't be a reality. It shouldn't be a reality that Trump would have such a supporter base that he could win the nomination. After all the crazy shit that this man has said, there should be no decent thinking human being in this country that goes, hey man, that guy seems like he's got his shit together. Like, nobody should be thinking that. And yet the polls show that there's enough people out there that think that this man, this crazy motherfucker, can win the presidency over someone who should be a shoe-in. Hillary should be a fucking shoe-in for the presidency. And in order to be a shoe-in for the presidency, all she had to do was be an actual progressive Democrat. Like, that's all she had to fucking do through her career. Be an actual progressive Democrat. Don't support fucking Iraq. Don't fucking sit here and support drone strikes against innocent civilians in Syria and other nations. Don't support that shit. That's not fucking progressive. Do you want humanists to support you? Then be a fucking humanist and stop supporting the mass murder of people around this fucking globe. Like, stop doing it. That's all she had to do, was just do what Democrats are supposed to do according to their own party's fucking ideology. According to everything that we're supposed to know about Democrats, we should see a progressive, liberal person in Hillary Clinton that stands for human rights and equality and, furthering the plight of the impoverished, um, improving education, making people's lives better. That's what the Democratic Party was supposed to stand for, and it's all she had to do. And if she had been there and done those things, she'd be a fucking shoe in. There'd be no fucking even thought of Trump winning the fucking presidency. Even if he won the Republican nomination, it'd be like, well, Trump won the fucking nomination over there, but Hillary's beating him 70-30. It's a trouncing. That's not the fucking case. That's not it. There are Republicans out there who don't want to vote for Trump, but they're like, well, I could have voted for Bernie, but I sure as fuck can't vote for Hillary. And
Yeah,
now,
Donald Trump. Sorry, I didn't
oh
mean to
no,
cut
go
you
ahead.
off.
No, go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, and Donald Trump, he just not only is he a liar, and he's a liar for obvious reasons. He says that he wants to bring jobs back in America, but yet he's not going to do it himself. Most of his products are made in Mexico and made in China. You want to bring jobs back? You can start by doing it your fucking self. And to the idea of let's attack the families of ISIS, terrorism is defined by violence for political or religious reasons, and that's it. He wants to attack innocent people for political reasons. So you know what? As far as I'm concerned, to any Donald Trump supporter that will watch this, if you're gonna call Hillary crooked, well, guess what? I'm gonna call Donald what he is: terrorist Donald.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, yeah. Donald's entire campaign has been, his entire platform is emotional terrorism. Fear mongering. That's how he's gotten where he's at, because he's taken people that are pissed off, and people that are looking at the rest of the world getting attacked repeatedly by Islamic terrorists, and he's going, "Hey, look at them. That could be us. We're in some real trouble here, but I can fix it. I can take care of it. Just let me go over. Just put me in there, and I'll take care of it all." Um, he won't. He won't take care of it all any more than fucking Bush did. Remember Bush?
Ugh.
Everybody remember that? Do you remember President George W. Goddamn Bush? Remember when he told us he was going to take care of it? Did
And
he
he
fucking
failed
take care of
miserably.
it? No. He made it worse. Okay, the idea here is when an arsonist sets fire to your fucking house, you don't ask him how to put the fire out, because he's going to hand you a can of gasoline and say, "Here, throw that on it." That's what Donald Trump is. He's an arsonist who started the fucking fire, who is fucking continually throwing gasoline on it, and then you're gonna go, well, we give him the reins, he'll fix shit. No, he won't. He'll finish the fucking job. Your house was 3/4 burnt down. He's gonna make sure it's 100%. That's what he's gonna do. Now, the question I've had to ask myself, the question that everyone has to ask themselves is, will Hillary do any better? I don't know. Will she? Let's look at her record. Did she support Iraq? Yes. Did she support sending troops into Afghanistan? Yes. Does she support fucking continued drone strikes that have killed hundreds of innocent civilians, women, and children in other nations? Yeah, she supports that. She's with it, man. So is that really better than Trump? Well, I can't say it's better or worse. I can say that it looks very similar. Is it maybe it's a smidgen better? Maybe she won't kill everyone at once or start a war immediately. She'll just do it slowly over time. Now, I'm the type of person who's always one to study and look at what's actually going on and look at the facts. And the facts are, we can sit here and discuss Islamic terrorism until the cows come home, and we can say this is a product of Islam. The fact is, Islam plays a major part in Islamic terrorism. That's why I label it Islamic terrorism. That's why anyone who's really honest about it will label it Islamic terrorism. However, Islam is not the only piece of the fucking puzzle. The other piece is political unrest in those nations. Most of that due to interventionism, perpetuated by the United States, by France, by England, and other major countries around the world. Russia, who go in and they say, we know what's best for you, and you're going to do it our way, or we will bomb the living shit out of you. We will kill innocent women and children. We don't give a fuck. We're just going to come in and fucking sandblast the shit out of all of you until you step into line. Of course, that's exactly what the DNC is doing with Bernie supporters right now. They're just carpet bombing the shit out of us, going, oh, well, we can't actually use real bombs, but we're going to use these terrible fear tactics to force you to fall in line, and you're going to do what we want, regardless of your personal, conscience and your own integrity. You're going to do what we want, or else the boogeyman's going to get you. And it's that sort of interventionism. It's the same thing that our nation has done, which causes political unrest. People get fed the fuck up. People get fed up to the point where they look at the world and they go, you know what? Maybe it should all just burn down and we'll fucking rebuild. Maybe that's what it's going to take. We'll just let it all fucking burn down and then we'll just rebuild from the fucking ashes. And there are people in that fucking position. There are people right now who hate Trump with a fucking passion, but they're probably going to go out and vote for him just to try and make sure that this motherfucker burns to the goddamn ground. Because there's what other option is there? What other fucking choice is there to fix the fucking system but to watch it fucking collapse and then rebuild it? We keep trying to fix the system from the inside. We keep trying to do it democratically. We keep trying to say, hey, we can fix this. We can fix this. And it's looking more and more like to a lot of people that we can't fix it. It's not redeemable. So fuck it. Let it burn.
Yeah, and as far as Bernie Sanders supporters are, well, I'm not Bernie supporters, to the Bernie haters, um, it just cracks me up that they think that just because, Bernie's not going to get the nomination, they think that, oh, well, this political revolution is going to be over after this election. No, it's not, because individuals like myself and Casper here, we're fucking tired of it. We're tired of getting fucked over. We're tired of only the corporations getting what they want. We're tired of only rich people getting what they want. We're tired of, for example, 32,000 Americans, our fellow Americans, dying every year because the gun lobbyists pay people like Hillary Clinton to not pass common sense gun laws, which 90% of the American people want. We're fucking tired of it. We're tired of medical bills being the number one reason for bankruptcy in America. We're fucking tired of it. No, I'm done.
Yeah. No, there are a lot of people in this nation that are fucking fed up. They're sick and fucking tired. And
It's not over. The political revolution is not over. Let me make that very clear to any Bernie haters that will watch this.
yeah, it's definitely not over, not by a long shot. I I don't want to see civil unrest and people fighting in the streets. I don't want to see any sort of coup within our government. So let me be clear of that. I don't support violent action. Um, I also have the foresight to see that violent action is almost certainly on the fucking horizon because a lot of people out there do support violent action and they're fed up, and every day I see more and more these police officers that are being murdered um, in the streets right now. That's because people are fucking fed up. They're fed up with fucking cops just running around shooting people. Um, you know, and I guarantee you that this latest incident where a black man was shot repeatedly while lying in the street with his hands in the fucking air, completely unarmed, is not going to help the situation in the slightest. I can guarantee you that. So, you know, you reap what you fucking sow, man. We don't have congressmen and senators and politicians stepping up and saying, hey, man, police corruption is a serious fucking problem. We got to deal with it. Those people are few and far between if they exist at all. And so The police are still basically given free reign. Many of them fucking walk out of what is an unjustified shooting with no repercussions whatsoever, except for possibly losing their job. Some of them don't fucking lose their jobs, and they just skate right by scot free. And people are fucking sick of it. They're fed up with it, and people will take violent action to try and fix a problem. Now, is it gonna fix the problem? Probably not. Violence almost never solves anything, and I don't support violence. I'm not one who supports violent action, but I understand. I understand it. I understand why people are out there doing it. I understand getting to that point where you're just so sick and tired and fed up that you feel like there's no other option. That that's the recourse to be taken. So I guess we'll move along a little bit in our discussion. And oh my god, let's talk about this Democratic National Convention and the church service that was held today. Um, because let's be honest, that's what it was. There was a church service held at the Democratic National Convention today. Much praying and Bible thumping, to the extent that the progressive or moderate religious people Bible thump, but they were out there. And of course, the DNC pandered to those folks very well today. Bravo, bravo for your pandering. You're fucking pros, man. If I was a religious person, I would have been like, hell yeah, you've got my support. Since I'm not a fucking religious person, watching that and seeing that happen was alienating, to say the least. The feeling and overall general feeling that I walked away from that with was, well, you're welcome in the party as long as you sit in the back of the bus and shut the fuck up. Like, what the fuck? Like, yeah, the grown ups are talking. We're talking about our sky ferry. You sit back there and shut up. You can be here, but we don't want you involved. Yeah, that's honestly the feeling that me and a great deal of my atheist friends on fucking Facebook, and we've all been discussing it, felt from that shit show of religious pandering at the DNC today. Did you actually get to see it?
I saw bits and pieces of it. I mean, I honestly had no interest in watching it until I found out about this fucking email scandal because they were. I felt that they were just gonna make excuses. But I think main thing that pissed me off about those emails is that they were trying to atheist shame Bernie. You and I both know he's not one, but if he was one, it's disgusting. I mean, put in atheist and put in Jew. Can you imagine the outrage about those emails? If he might be a Jew. Ask him a question. There would be outrage, but yet when it comes to atheists, there's no outrage. It blows my mind. I mean, it's getting to the point where, and I hate to say this, getting to the point where we're the last minority for it's okay to pick on. And to anyone out there that may feel that way, I think I can speak for my friend here when I say we're not going to take it. We're not going to take your bullshit. We're not going to take your bigotry. We're not going to let you get away with these fucking propaganda films like God's Not Dead. We're not going to put up with it.
It's funny because there are, I think last count was at least 12 states in the United States where being an atheist um, negates you from running for public office. Tennessee is one of them.
7.
Okay, 7.
Sorry. Yeah.
Um,
I didn't want to interrupt you, so go ahead.
yeah, Tennessee is one of them. In this state, if I wanted to run for public office, I would have to pretend like I believe in a God, because our state constitution itself says that to be eligible to run for political office in the state, you have to believe in some kind of God. I could be a Muslim and run for office. Of course, I'm not going to win. um, I could be a Jew or a Hindu or a Buddhist. I could be a fucking Scientologist and run for office. Um, I could be a fucking deist and run for office. But you can't be an atheist. If you reject and deny the existence of a God, you can't run for office in this state. Is that constitutionally illegal? No. No, it's not. Um, would the people of this state get away with you know casting aspersions on people and calling them an atheist and making it so that their run for office was actually denied and they weren't able to run for office? Yes, yes, they would. In fact, here in my state of Tennessee, we had a candidate in Nashville that was running for office, and one of the smear campaigns against her was trying to say that her husband was an atheist. And oh my God, no, we can't have that. We can't have that. It's not good, God fearing folks. They can't possibly, help the people of the state. And it worked out pretty well for them. They did pretty well with that. The same thing applies to how they were trying to smear Bernie. Is like, he skirted around the question of whether he believes in God or not. Let's get him. Let's get him on it. Did Hillary's campaign actually do that? Did the DNC themselves do that? No, but they did discuss it. It was on the fucking table. And the fact that it's even on the fucking table tells me everything I really need to know about the DNC themselves. Um, if they believe that they can you know, get rid of a candidate simply because they don't believe in God, then am I really welcome in their party? And the answer is no. No, not really welcome. Like I said, I can be there as long as I sit in the back of the bus and shut the fuck up. If I get up and I start talking and I get upset when they fucking pander to religious people like they did at the convention today, then they're going to have a problem with me because it doesn't fit with their narrative. They have to appeal and pander to a religious majority out there. And, yeah, Bernie's campaign certainly would have been fucking in the dirt. I mean, it would have been over if he had just stood up and said early on in his campaign, yes, I'm an atheist. Um, Even as we speak, I truly have this feeling deep down inside me that Bernie is a closet atheist. Like, I don't think he wants anything to do with religion. I don't think he has any part in it. Maybe he's just agnostic. Maybe he's a deist of some sort. But I don't think it matters to him in the least. I don't think he worries every day about whether he's going somewhere after he dies. I don't think that's an important idea for him whatsoever. And I think to some extent, yeah, he's a closeted atheist. Um, can he admit that as a politician? No. We have how many atheists in Congress right now? I think three.
One.
Um, one out and out atheist, and then I think there are like two others that refuse to comment on the situation or consider themselves religious nuns. So they're not affiliated in any way with any religion. But we're talking out of how many seats in Congress between the House and the Senate?
I think like over 500, I think.
Yeah. So when we say we're a minority, it's a factual statement. It's a statistically factual statement. We are a minority group in there, um, and I have to wonder, where's my representation? You know, where's the humanist representation in Congress and the Senate? In the House and the Senate. Well, where are the atheists being represented? Who's standing up for us and saying, hey, let's deal with these supposed religious freedom bills and all kinds of other horse shit that would allow people to discriminate against atheists and the LGBT community and any number of other people based on their strongly held beliefs. You know, who's standing up for us? And the answer is
No one.
nobody. So I don't know, man. DNC's pandering to the religious right or religious folks in general, I guess. The Republican Party has been taken over completely by evangelicals and the religious right. Um, I don't think Jill Stein or fucking Johnson's going to stand up and say, "Hey, uh, we support, you know, strict regulation and getting religion out of politics." I don't think either one of those is going to stand up for that. Even if they did, it's a fucking moot issue because they ain't going nowhere. So, you know, I feel a lot like I, I feel like I can empathize with somewhat to some degree how our forefathers felt when they stood up against Britain and they said no taxation without representation. And I'm wondering why I'm still paying people who don't represent me to go into Congress and write laws and pass legislation that doesn't represent me and that it could actually, you know, hinder me and actually is detrimental to me. Why am I still giving these people my money again? I honestly don't have a good answer. I can't figure out why I'm still paying my fucking taxes. Why I'm still giving my money. Oh yeah, I know what it is. Because they'll put me in fucking prison if I don't. That's why. Um, I think there's a word for that. Let's see. Let's see. What is that? Oh yeah, that's a form of terrorism and a form of theft. When you just take someone's shit and you threaten them, um, yeah, that's actually illegal by any other standard. If it was a private citizen that did that to me, I could actually press charges against them. But the government does it, and it's all good.
Yeah.
Fucking America, gotta love it.
Well, as far as us being a minority, I mean, from what I've seen with every new generation, more and more of America is becoming non-religious. Maybe not exactly atheists, but non-religious. So who knows? Maybe 20 years down the line, we'll actually have representation. So not all is lost.
I don't even know if this country's gonna exist 20 years down the line.
Well,
Um,
if not, then I'm moving to Canada because I can't speak Spanish.
all right, all right. We got about 5 minutes left, so I'm gonna go ahead and turn it over to you for a minute. Let you give your final thoughts, and then I'm gonna wrap it up with a few things I've got on my mind, and we'll call it a night.
Uh, I think I've said everything I had on my mind tonight. But I'll give it a shot here. Uh, as far as the DNC emails go, I'm not the least bit surprised. It was very obviously to me that they were against Bernie from the beginning. Now it's just even, but now at least it's confirmed. They know, at least I'm hoping most Americans will know what the DNC and even the RNC is really about. And and that is that they are not for us. They're not for the poor. They're not even for the middle class. They are for corporations. They are for the rich people. And there's doesn't matter who gets into office. One of them is going to fuck up, and when it happens, people like me and Casper here will be saying, you know what, we told you so. We told you this was going to happen, and you didn't fucking listen. And as far as them, again, trying to atheist shame Bernie, which I actually do agree with you. I think he is a closeted atheist. But to atheist shame Bernie, I'm sick of it. I'm sick and tired of atheists being the last minority that it's okay to pick on. Because I think, obviously, people can't pick on black people anymore, or Asians, or any other minority. But when it comes to atheists, for some reason I don't understand, most Americans think, hey, This is the last minority it's okay to pick on. Let's pick on them now, because we know 20 years down the line that may not be the case. Uh, that's pretty much it. And in conclusion, as Casper said earlier, I do have a YouTube channel called Atheist Ranger. Please subscribe to it. My goal is to get 100 subscribers. Back to you, Casper.
All right. Fuck all. I've been dealing with some folks on Facebook and on Twitter. Hillary supporters, former Bernie supporters who have decided that they have to vote blue no matter who. And one of the big arguments that I keep encountering is that the Supreme Court nominations are just too important. And so we just got to suck it up and bite the bullet because if Trump gets in there, we're going to get another Scalia or worse, and things are just going to go to shit, and everybody's going to be living in some fucking Mad Max dystopia, and it's just going to be fucking terrible. And I've tried to address this with them, and I want to address this with everyone here. I understand that fear of, oh my goodness, SCOTUS is too important. We have to stop Trump at all costs. I understand that fear, and I have to tell you that unfortunately it's fallacious and unfounded. Now, that isn't to say that Trump wouldn't install extremely conservative, anti-abortion, anti-women's rights, anti-Muslim Supreme Court justices. He probably will if he gets the presidency. He probably will. The issue is none of the states right now give two flying fucks what SCOTUS has to say. They're not following federal rule of law. They don't give a fuck. Don't care. There are plenty of states right now that we'll take North Carolina, for example, and their bathroom bill, which is a clear violation of previously established civil rights laws, a clear violation of previous Supreme Court rulings, a clear violation of current Supreme Court rulings. And yet, the state of North Carolina is doing what the fuck they want. They don't give a shit. And the federal government is doing what exactly as far as repercussions go? Nothing. They haven't stopped sending them money. They haven't threatened them in any real meaningful way to try and get them to actually acknowledge federal rule of law and follow it. So when you tell me that SCOTUS is too important, I have to ask you why. Why? No one's listening. Each individual state has gotten to the point where they seem to think that their state has individual sovereignty and they can just do whatever the fuck they want, regardless of what the federal government says, regardless of SCOTUS rulings. They're just going to do what the fuck they want. And the federal government isn't going to do anything to stop it. They haven't been doing anything to stop it. They're not going to start doing anything to stop it. The reason they're not is because Congress is full of these supposed anti-establishment Tea Party Republicans who are completely obstructing any movement within Congress and who are themselves telling the states, hey, you deserve autonomy and you deserve your own sovereignty and you should just be able to do what you want and take care of yourselves. The reality is, people, we are watching the republic dissolve before our eyes. Yes, the United States of America is a republic made up of 50 individual little islands. And we all banded together and say, hey, we can do a lot better if we work together. But that was a long time ago. And now, those individual islands are saying, hey, we're individual fucking islands. And we'll do what the fuck we want. Fuck the federal government. So, right now, what we are witnessing is the republic dissolve. Why am I not worried about Trump? Why am I not worried about SCOTUS? Well, because the country is falling apart. My own state of Tennessee, under a Hillary presidency, might go for their third time of trying to secede from this country. Texas would fucking be right there with them. Arizona would be on that list of states that want to secede from the fucking union. The republic is dissolving, people, and Hillary Clinton's not going to pull it back together. Donald fucking Trump is not going to pull it back together. Neither one of those candidates, no matter who they nominate for a Supreme Court seat, is going to fix the problem. They're not suddenly going to get into office and then all of a sudden the states go, oh, well, fuck, I guess we got to listen to these people. They're not. They haven't been listening, and that's not going to change under either presidency. Unfortunately, it wouldn't change under Bernie either. You're witnessing the downfall of the Republic in much the same way that the Empire of Rome fell apart when that republic dissolved and the individual islands decided they didn't want to be a part of the whole anymore. It's happening right now, slowly but surely. Some of us will live to see it, and it will be devastating for most of the people in this country. We have a chance to stop it, but most of us are never going to be willing to stand up and do it because we're complacent cattle being herded into the fucking slaughtering factory. We're happy with our television sets and our computers and our smartphones. We're happy with our cars and our houses and all these little trinkets and doodads and gadgets. We're worrying about whether we can catch a fucking Pikachu at the fucking 7-Eleven. You know, that's those are our concerns, and that's why it's going to happen, whether we want it to or not. Well, no matter how much I say, no matter how much Bernie says, no matter how much, if Hillary was speaking about it and gave a shit, how much she would be saying. Um, Trump with his fucking "Make America Great Again." Uh, None of that's going to stop any of it. Complacent cattle. Moo, bitches. Step up and get slaughtered. So, this has been another episode of The Devils in God's Country. And as always, the thoughts and opinions and ideas expressed here are not necessarily the thoughts, opinions, and ideas of all members of Atheist Republic. We, of course, have a huge team of a little over 300 people, so we can't possibly speak for all of them. If you have any problems, questions, comments, fucking shit you want to sling, please do so towards us at Devils in God's Country. Do so on our YouTube page. Send us a message on Facebook. You can find these on Google Plus as well if you're on Google Plus. I have to ask you what the fuck you're doing on Google Plus, but hey, if you're there and you wanna fucking rail on us there, I check all of them, so I'll see your shit. And I'll address it as best I can, or I might just be a douchebag. I don't know. Depends on how I'm feeling that day. If you like the things that the Atheist Republic organization is doing to try and build a strong and vibrant atheist community online and offline in your local communities, please go to atheistrepublic.com and support us in some way. If you want to join the team, we would love to have you on the team. If you got a couple bucks you could throw at us, that would be awesome, because the shit that the organization does is not free. Although this show is free, the organization itself is a separate entity, and the things that the organization does are not free. So, if you got a couple bucks you want to throw at them, hey, man, that'd just be awesome. If you don't, we'll still love you. You can still come watch the show. You can still visit atheistrepublic.com. You can still comment on the blogs. Do whatever. Like, we're not going to kick you out over it, but hey, if you got it, we'd love to help. I think that about wraps it up. So, this has been another episode of Devils in God's Country. I'm one of your hosts, Casper Rigsby. Uh, Glad to have our new co host on here with me tonight. Really enjoyed just having someone else to banter ideas back and forth with, because this would have been rather boring if it was just me talking at you guys. So, everybody say thank you to Tony Prouse for joining us, and he will be a regular on the show. So, get used to seeing his mug, because it will be here on a regular basis. Thanks, everybody. Same time, same place, same channel next week. Bye.